Welcome to our Womb Revival series. This is our wise and beautiful womb, and I'll get back to it right away. But meanwhile, I want to just start by asking you, why do you think that some women are guided by their cycle, their menstrual cycle, or their menopause process, while other women suffer symptoms like PMS and headaches and vomiting and emotional upheavals and depression and outrage? Why do some women feel like they have a key to plan their lives and to have harmony with their cycle, whether they menstruate or they are in menopause or beyond, versus other women feel like the world is crashing down on them and they can't feel that they get a handle on everything? Hi, my name is Diana Lam. I'm founder of Womb Wisdom Tribe and of Red Tent in Every Neighborhood. And I'm here today to invite you to delve into a revival of your most important guidance organ in your body, your womb. In this first video in my series, I'm going to show you how connecting with your womb and realizing its power and its true meaning and its essence can get you not only out of symptoms anywhere in your womanhood that you are, menstruating, peri-menopause, menopause or beyond, but also being able to have a handle on planning your life and in moving forward with a sense of peace with your femininity, with your self-esteem, with who you are as a woman in the world. So if you're a woman in her menstruating years that feel that you're not empowered by your cycle, that feel that you're not in sync with it, that feel that your life is often in clash with your body's rhythms, or if you're a woman in perimenopause, in menopause, or beyond menopause, who don't feel fed and empowered by your stage of life, stay with me. I'm going to show you and reveal to you how reviving your womb and recognizing the depth of its wisdom can be a guiding force in your life. The goal of this video, first one in the series, is simple. Is to show you how aligning with your womb can be a source of not only getting rid of symptoms and not only aligning with your rhythm, but actually increasing self-esteem and self-worth and self-love in your life as a woman at any stage of your womanhood. Before we fully dig in, I want to warn you about something. I want to warn you about something that if you don't pay attention to, you're guaranteed to stay stuck in wherever you are in either menopause or menstruation, because it's really essential that you realize that there is a new paradigm that we are wanting to walk here as women. And I don't want you to stay stuck in the old paradigm. So what I'm talking about is that you can't continue to stay in your stage of either menopause or menstruation and completely disregard the other side. You can't stay in your menstruating years and completely ignore menopause because it's not something that's part of your experience, because it shapes the way that you will prepare and enter your menopause years. The way that you are now receiving information from the culture about your menstruation and your menopause will affect how you would experience menopause. And if you are in menopause or beyond it, you can't ignore the fact that, oh, you're no longer bleeding. That means that that has nothing to do with you anymore, because there is so much that we have taken in as women growing in societies that are not supporting menstruation and are seeing it as a taboo and as a disgusting thing. There is so much that we have accumulated in our cells and bones that needs to be released, that it's never too late, whether you are in menopause or beyond it, to release that, to heal your experience of menstruating, even though you might be past it in your stage in life. So menstruation and menopause are not opposites. They're not two parts that are disconnected. They are a continuum. They are a continuum of our womb wisdom. So I want to warn you from putting on blinders and only being focused on menstruation or only being focused on menopause, because when you focus on neither one but on your womb, I will talk about this in a minute, on our beautiful womb. When you are focused on the wisdom of your womb, then it doesn't matter which phase you're in. You can be guided regardless of your phase because you have an oracle within you. So I'm sure that you'll agree that trying to be symptom-free is not simple. A lot of women that I met have known about embracing their cycle, have known about the fact that the culture is really negative about it and they have to move away from that. And yet, for so many women that I meet, this still is a concept in their mind. They recognize it, but they still suffer from symptoms. They recognize it, but they still don't have a system in place in their lives of listening to their womb and taking care of themselves and consulting their womb on a regular daily basis. So I want to demystify what this means. I want to really get you away from the thoughts about, oh, this is cool, or, oh, I need to embrace my cycle in my mind. I need to realize in my mind that the culture is not supporting me, but to move into it being a practice, not a thought process, not something in the mind realm, but your spiritual practice based in your womb. In this first video, I'd like to share with you the womb wisdom path that I've developed over years and years of working with women worldwide. And I want to share it with you because I want to help you get to where you want to be with your womanhood, regardless of the phase of femininity, of womanhood that you are in. You may be just starting. You may have just stumbled on it and never heard of the power that menstruation or menopause has for us as women, or you may be a seasoned woman who may have started using alternative products already, who may have been taking time off to rest during your period or during your menopause or beyond, listening to your body. Regardless of where you are, I would like to introduce you to a system in this series of videos that will help you go deeper and move beyond the concept to a practice that will allow you to actually live your womb empowerment, to live daily as a woman whose womb is the seat of her power, which it is. I developed this series because I met so many women worldwide. I travel and I see women in many cultures who often lead other women's groups, often lead red tents, and yet themselves still struggle with symptoms, either physical or emotional. I saw women who are lost around their menopause and beyond, feeling that their femininity has been lost, that their womanhood has been lost. I've seen women who call other women to rest and renew themselves, but they themselves have not made it a practice in their lives. They themselves are not feeling fully worthy or give themselves permission to take time for themselves in their lives as either cycling women, perimenopause, menopause, or beyond. So stick with me because I would like to share with you some skills and tools that will help you get there in a visceral, emotional, spiritual way rather than just as a concept. Before I outline the womb wisdom path, you may be asking yourself, how did I get into all of this? So I'd like to give you some background of where I'm coming from. Some 27 years ago is when I started this journey. I was fulfilled in my life. I had lived with my beloved, who I'm still with after all these years. I was happy with my relationship. I was trained group facilitator and therapist. I had a private practice of couples. Everything was great. I was happy with my life. However, once a month, I became a basket case. I became so irritable. I became so outraged. I picked up fights with my beloved all the time, and the world was crashing on me, and I didn't understand why. And then everything cleared up, and the skies were blue again. But then monthly, this crashing came, this emotional crash. And I started researching deeply menstruation in indigenous cultures, because I did not believe for a moment that nature could have designed us, women, as a species that has suffering and pain as their core design. I couldn't believe that. And indeed, I found out that that's not the case. And as the years gone by, I went into researching menopause because I was on my way there, and now I traversed that gateway. So I have years of research and experimentation and trial and error with my own menstrual cycle and my own journey towards menopause and beyond menopause that I would like to share with you. I've gone through all these years so that you don't have to. I want to give you a few tools that will help you quickly shift from the symptomatic place that you might be into a symptom-free place, that will help you shift from places of lack of self-esteem and lack of self-love and lack of honoring who you are as a woman into a place where I feel that I practice in my life, which is a place of being fully guided by my menstrual cycle in the time when I was menstruating, and by my womb now when I'm in menopause. I have raised a daughter who is still budding young woman who had a beautiful coming into menstruation when she was a maiden, no symptoms, and she is joyfully menstruating these years. I am living my life and have been living my life for many years now as anchored in my womb, and that's what I'd like for you. But this story doesn't end with me. I want to offer you what I've learned. You wouldn't be watching this if you weren't a woman who is on some level struggling either with menstruation, perimenopause, menopause, or beyond menopause. You wouldn't be watching it if you didn't believe that there is another step, another depth, another improvement, another enhancement that you can bring to your life in order to be more in harmony and in peace with your rhythms, whether you cycle or not, with your womanhood, with your womb. So I would like to share with you the womb wisdom path that I have developed in order to help you along the path and to help you move from symptoms to non-symptoms, from lack of clarity to full clarity, from a place of not having a compass to a place of having a guidance from within. And all this is possible through the womb wisdom path and recognizing what your womb has to offer for you. The purpose of the womb wisdom path is to move you out of symptoms, emotional and physical, regardless of the stage of womanhood you're at, and moving you into a place of sitting in your power as a woman, regardless of the stage you're at. Are you ready? Let's begin. Here is our beautiful womb. And I want to say some of you, a lot of you have a flesh and blood womb, and some of you had your womb surgically removed, and you still have an etheric womb. The womb that you were born in with, the womb that you still have or that was surgically removed is still emanating wisdom within you. So if you don't have a physical womb, work and connect with your etheric womb. So this is our beautiful womb, and these are our two fallopian tubes. And once every month, from one of the tubes, an egg is released. And this egg descends from our fallopian tube into our womb cavity, into the sacred space of our womb. And it begins, the release of the egg begins to grow an inner lining of our womb. This inner lining will nourish a baby if we conceive. And this inner lining will be there, stay there for 9 months of the pregnancy to be the life-giving tissue that nourishes our baby until it's ready to be born. However, once a month, after we grow this beautiful, wise tissue, we may not need it if we don't conceive. Most of our lives we're not pregnant. So if we haven't conceived, our womb does no longer need the inner lining that it grew, and it sheds it. And it sheds it as our menstrual blood. So this inner lining and the egg with it are shed. They would have stayed in the womb had we been pregnant. However, if we're not, it is shed, and that is what our menstrual blood is. What I want to talk with you about today is the wisdom of the egg. The wisdom of the egg in comparison to the wisdom of the sperm. So the sperm is a go-getter. The sperm goes after what it wants and runs after it. The egg, on the other hand, creates the environment for herself to grow and to be a nourishing, inviting environment to grow life. The difference is that a sperm goes out and an egg creates an inviting environment. The egg creates what she wants to attract. I want to acknowledge here my colleague in Israel, Smadar Miller, who helped me be inspired by this particular part of my teaching, the wisdom of the egg. So the egg is creating her environment. And what can this teach you about how you are creating in your life? Do you continually run after things sperm-like, masculine-like? Nothing wrong with it, but it's a masculine way of pursuing goals. Or have you learned to create the environment, to nurture the environment, to allow it to attract, and then when you realize that this is not going to happen this time around, or things have shifted or moved around, you shed, you let go, you release. That's another part of the egg wisdom. You let go and release when you realize that you need to shift, and then there is always another egg that descends and another creative environment, nurturing environment that you can create for the next project. So this is a profound teaching from our own body, from our own womb, as how we as women are designed to create. So now that you realize how intelligent your womb is, the next big question is, how can you begin to use it in your life? How can you begin to be in contact, in relationship with your womb? Because hands down, the most important key question for any woman is she guided by her womb? Is her life guided by her womb wisdom? And that's what I'd like to show you in the next video. So what I'd like to show you in the next video is how to implement a living relationship with your womb on a regular basis. How to start to live with your womb wisdom as your guide, how to cultivate it as your compass. Whether you are menstruating or in peri-menopause or in menopause or beyond, whatever, or whether you have a flesh and blood womb or not, your phase of womanhood is not as relevant to your relationship with your womb. And that's what I'd like to show you in the second video, in order to bring down this awareness that we have created today about the intelligence of our womb, about the intelligence of our egg consciousness as opposed to sperm consciousness, about the ability that our womb has to navigate projects in a cyclical way, whether we menstruate or not. So now that we've realized that, in the next video, I would like to guide you in how to make this a practice in your daily life. So before we go away today, I'd like to invite you to comment below this video. I'd like to know what was new to you today. What have you learned today that was new to you about your womb? And I'd like to get to know you better. I'd like to know where you are on your womanhood journey, in what phase you are, what might be your struggles or your triumphs. I will read all of your comments and I will respond to as many as I can, because I'd like this to be an interactive dialogue. And do share this with other women. I'd like to spread the consciousness and the gift to as many women as we can reach. So share this video, share the URL of it, give the gift of womb wisdom to other women in your life. Isn't it amazing to know that you have an oracle within you? That you were born with an oracle, with a compass as a woman? Isn't it exciting to know that you can cultivate a relationship with it at any phase of your life? If you're menstruating or towards menopause, beyond menopause, whether you even have a physical womb or not. Isn't it inspiring to know that by design you have a compass, a guidance that you can relate to? So in the next video, I'm going to show you and teach you how to implement and begin to have a living relationship with your own inner oracle. I can't wait to share this with you. Until next time, be womb wise.